So if you're thinking about selling your house in San Diego, you might have heard or seen the news, watched national stuff about housing crashes, housing recessions, recessions in general, all this bad news coming out. But we're going to let you know if now is the worst time to sell your house in San Diego. And we just got this video made for on the buy side is now the worst time to buy. And somebody made a comment, hey, you guys should do it for the sell side. So that's what we're going to do for you. We're actually going to bring in the data and let you know exactly what's happening, because on national, on city, on every different level, it's different. So we're going to dial it into San Diego. So let you know what's going on. And even every neighborhood's a little bit different, but we would just really want to set expectations, make sure we're not here to scare people. We're here to inform you so you can make an informed decision when you're figuring out if now is a good time to sell your house. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Chris Erickson.
Lauren Sanders. Good to be here.
We're with the Beach Life Group here in North County, San Diego. And if you guys are thinking about selling your home or you just want to start that conversation, hit us up, call, text, email. We got your back when moving in and around North County, San Diego. Let's get into, is now the worst time to sell your house?
Let's do it. Well, is this the worst time to sell your house? What do you think, Chris?
That is a great question. Depends.
It does depend. Depends on where you're going, what you're doing, and what your situation is. But let's see what's going on anyway.
Yeah, so this is a good little, we pull this data from Altos Research, and we have all these data sets from every single, or a lot of the North County markets here. And it's just a good indicator of when you're asking, how's the market? You can see it kind of fluctuates. Even in this, over the past 3 to 6 months, this number has been skewed very high. So those charts, the little gauge has been very far to the right, hitting the 70, 80, 90. And that just meaning it's more heavily skewed to the seller's market. You can see a lot of them are skewing kind of down towards the where it says buyer's market. But every market
30
is
the
different.
buyer. Yeah, 30s in with Altos, 30s the number for kind of an even market, and below that comes a buyer's market. The other cool thing on this particular graph that kind of gives you more info is the blue is really where we're at now, and the dark gray is where we were last month. So you can see some of them, there's a deceleration in just like if you were going down the road at 90, and now in some zip codes, we're not going 90 anymore. We're going 50, and some 45, and some 42. So we're slowing down. There's a couple of them that are right in the buyer market range, but for the most part, still sellers market, but there's caveats to all of that depending on your neighborhood and price range.
Yeah, and this chart takes into account kind of what traditional demand versus supply. So that's kind of what they're charting here. This next slide answers the question, did you miss the top? Potentially.
The most recent top, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Probably was May-ish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you can see it chart back all the way to about 2013, I believe. And you can see the long-term trend is up. And then the last few years, kind of obviously 2020, 2021, 2022, that price has jumped up significantly. And now we're seeing it just kind of come down a little bit. So compared to where it was in 2018, 2019, it's higher still. But it is kind of coming down. We're still year over year higher. Median price doesn't really mean anything for you because your house is different. It's just the very center, the center.
Half above and half below. Yeah.
There you go. That's a better way to say it than the center price.
Half of the sales are above and half of the sales are below. So it's that number where it's just a number to help. It gauges kind of where the market is a little better than average, because the average can skew. We can have some big sales in a month or some low sales. And we notice that when we look at the data in a place like Cardiff or something, where you see, hey, prices are off 35% this month. Well, not really, but that's what the data says. So the data is great, but you got to have context, and then, also build some other things around it to tell the full picture. So that's the big gripe I actually have, Chris, with the news is get these headlines that are really only created with the words, the different structure and the words they use to try to get people to buy into reading it and stuff. And anyway,
clickbait.
That's my soapbox. Let's go to the next graph.
And this one is important for pricing out there. Over the past few months, we've seen the percent that people are getting for their homes go down quite a bit. As far as okay, you list your home at $1 million and people are offering well above that. Now we're seeing $1 million and people are offering kind of right at that or a little bit below. So you
Right.
can see the percentage that people are getting from their original list price has gone down quite a bit. You can see that over the last few months, that strong dip on the far right of the chart there, and it includes attached and detached homes in there.
Yeah, it's 106 down to about 96, just
Yep.
if you can't read it well. So it's a significant drop.
Yep. And it just goes to show right now, pricing. I mean, pricing as always when selling your home is super important. Even more so now, you don't want to go for that wish pricing that maybe you could have got a few months ago, because your home's most likely going to sit. You're going to get maybe no offers, potentially price adjustments down, and then you're chasing the market down, which is probably not the best strategy if you are motivated and actually do want to sell your home. You want to price it appropriately for your neighborhood and what's going on in your neck of the woods. So,
Or maybe even a little ahead of the market
yeah,
in either direction. If it's going significantly in one direction or the other, it's not bad to have a step up. So sometimes here, if you're a little below the market, you get the offers you want to see, and it's a better overall situation for you. Maybe you have multiple offers instead of one that you
yeah.
have to deal with. So
One,
historical inventory of homes for sale by month. This is the actual aggregate number in San Diego County of attached and detached.
yeah, and you can see kind of in the past, it kind of trended between that. In 2013 it was a little low in that 6,000, but right around 8 to 12,000 ish. Right now we're sitting about 4,000 or so, just around that number, a little bit below that. So that is a good thing for sellers, meaning there's not as much competition that there has been historically. But the demand side of that, where the buyers, a lot of them have either been priced out or just become unaffordable for them. So we've seen that side drop a little bit as well over these past few months with interest rates kind of rising. So
Yeah, a quick kind of thing for context on that is $1.2 million house now. The mortgage payment from January to now is about $1,200 more a month.
yeah,
So I'm sorry, 2,100. I'm being dyslexic on that. It's about 2,100 for that big a gap because the mortgage rates basically doubled over that period of time. So 2,100 is a big number. So that's brought some people down from $1.2 million to 900.
yeah.
When they're buying. So
Yeah, and this kind of brings into the demand side as well. It's month supply of inventory.
it's when you sell, if everything that's on the market now sold,
Yeah,
how much time do you have before, how much of that time would it take? So if no new homes come on the market and all of them sold, we were at half a month, like 2 weeks if no new homes came on the market earlier in the year.
yeah,
Now we're at 2 months, 1.8 to 2 months, depending on where you're at. And in some markets, it's 3 or 4 months, depending on your price bracket and all that stuff. But yeah, that's the best one because it gauges like you said, Chris, the demand.
hmm
The demand and the supply and demand kind of and where they're at. So
and this number has risen because the new listings that have come on, they haven't just sold right away. So we have seen the inventory or the number of homes kind of going up week over week as they don't sell that first week or two. They're sitting for a month or 2 months, and that number just continues to build this inventory that we're seeing right here.
yep, absolutely. So what's the bottom line? Is it a good time did you miss it? I think there's 3 things to look at that we can cover real quick. One is if you're thinking of selling and you were moving up or moving down, your opportunity is better now because you've got more things to choose from on the other end. It was difficult for buyers selling something to buy something in the previous 5-6 months ago, almost impossible unless you paid cash first or bought it first and then sold your house later. The other thing, like Chris mentioned at the end of this, number of homes on the market still relatively low historically. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And then the other, probably the best news of all of it, and this came out in the news today from that equity is up 28% roughly year over year nationwide. In California and Hawaii and some of the higher price states, 100 grand they've gained in equity for folks. So you got more equity, and you just got to look at it how it makes sense for you. Really go through some questions on your own personal situation.
Yeah, a few setting expectations for you as a seller currently compared to what you have heard or what you have seen over the past few months. Currently, right now, what we know, days on market is going to be a little bit longer. It's not going to be that 7 day unless it's well prepped. It's like a special property. It's really ready to go. It can be 7 days, but typically we're seeing a longer days on market. The number of offers is down quite a bit, where before you were getting crazy amount of offers. I mean, 10, 15, 20 offers on properties, bringing up that price. So you had your pick of the litter, which one you wanted. We're seeing
Yep.
less offers come in. The third thing that we're seeing too is buyers are getting some concessions. So some requests for repairs, some termites, some credits from sellers. We're seeing, which is a little bit more of a normal market as
We're
opposed to
normalizing.
waiving everything. Yeah.
Yep, that's a great word for it. We're normalizing, and there's usually a little dip below the normalization before it gets, it does this. It
Yeah.
doesn't go here and then straight. It's gonna kind of move along. So the reason when it does this, that's why time in the market's just like trying to time the stock market.
So just be
Anyway,
prepared as a seller, and we're dropping new videos on this channel every single week, all about North County, San Diego, individual markets. So we just went over Solana Beach, we've done Carlsbad, we've done Encinitas, but we're updating those all the time. So be sure to subscribe so you know when we're dropping new videos,
yeah.
and be sure to check out that next video popping up.